All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, let's see, what is this? 34, episode 34 of CNC Q A Podcast. Hope you all are doing well. Thank y'all for tuning in. And let me get my crew in here.
Hey.
Got the usual suspects. Ryan Ballard. How you doing, Ryan?
What's going on, sir?
Same old, same old. Hope you're doing well. I saw and I shared your little what was that, YouTube short, I guess you call it.
Mhm.
Pretty excited to see that thing come out. I can't hardly wait till Saturday. So when you turn it loose,
It'll be fun times. Been busy.
all right. How about you, Mr. Paul? You got anything to show us tonight?
Hey, I do. If there's any movie fans out there, this is Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still. He's the robot, and on there is the magic words that he said the woman says. It's Klaatu Barada Nikto. That's what she tells Gort, and what that means in English is grab the woman, put her in the spaceship, lock her in there, go get the guy that just gets shot, come back to the spaceship, bring him back to life, and then we'll go on from there. That's what that means.
That's an
Okay.
efficient language.
All right. Cool. I'm glad you could make it, Paul. And Mr. Bob,
Look
what's
forward
new
to
with
it.
you?
Man, I can't even come close to matching that, so I'm just going to pass.
Okay. All right.
Just hang it up in a tree.
There you go.
Just hanging around.
Yep, Bob the Squirrel.
There you go.
All righty. Well, I've got quite a bit of stuff to talk about tonight. I've been taking notes and got a lot of things I wanted to share with y'all tonight. First of all, let me get something screen shared over here, and y'all might already know this, I guess, but I don't think this is probably going to be any earth-shattering news, but just some stuff I saw that I thought I would share. I get the newsletter from Masso, and I got an email from them. I believe it was yesterday, maybe the day before. But one thing that caught my eye, we've talked about the automatic tool changers and how the super high dollar one that PWN has, and then the rapid change one that spins the collet and does it that way, and it's much more affordable. But anyway, Masso has announced that people have been asking for it, so they listened, and now they're going to have the May release of the Masso 3 controller software, version 5.1, and they're introducing full support for the rapid ATC tool changers.
Sweet.
So that really kind of caught my eye because when that thing first came out, and I think I saw, Ryan talk about it on his show, Making It Up As We Go, on Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Little plug there.
Thank you, sir.
But when I first saw it, and then I started watching a few videos, I really wasn't that impressed. I thought, well, it's cool if it works, but I wonder how many times that thing cross-threads stuff, and I just had my doubts about it working. But I guess it's been a while now, and they've really perfected it, and I think it's pretty cool. In fact, I want one.
And it's so much
one,
less
but I want
expensive.
one. But just comparing, I looked at, I did a little window shopping today, and I went to the PWN website, and their ATC, which is the you got to get the spindle with the pneumatics and a whole lot more involved. I said it's a good unit, but it's not really for a hobbyist, I don't think, unless you got deep pockets. But theirs is $3,700. But the good news is it's on sale, and it's only $34.41. So, you can save what, 250 something bucks or something like that. So, and then I went to the Rapid ATC site, and of course they have several different models. They have what they call their basic in 4, 8, and 6 positions. And the basic just means it doesn't have that little lid that comes over to keep the dust out. But I think those are pretty reasonable. The ER20-4 is like $300. The ER20-6 in the basic is also $300, which I kind of wondered, why is that the same price? Why would you get the 4 if you can get 2 more tools for the same price? And then the ER28 basic is $400. And then of course, if you get the premium one, which has got that clear lid, that goes over it. I don't know how it's set up. It's motor driven. I think it pops over and keeps things covered. And then when it goes to get a tool, it pops open and lets the thing put that tool in and get another tool, and then it closes back up, so you keep the dust off of it. But I guess that would be nice if you could, want to spend. I think it's like a couple, like $200 extra if you want to get the one with the cover on it. But I guess if you're running a good dust collection and you put the thing like to the back of the machine or something, I would think you could probably get by without the little cover thing. But again, if you're getting one, maybe go ahead and splurge, spend an extra couple $100. And
so am I seeing that right, that the spindle winds it up and then unwinds it to release it, to unthreads it on?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And I don't know if you're going to be like me, Bob, but when I first saw it, I thought, oh man, that's just screw ups waiting to happen.
Well, I'm just wondering how you hold the bit in the right position while it's loose. Maybe it's got a bottom that you set it in or something. I don't know.
Well,
there's
the guys that use it, if you've got a collet where it's too loose and the bit wants to fall out, you can take like some foam or something and cut it to the right height and then stick it down in the bottom of that hole, and it will hold the bit up. And I go check them out. I thought you might be interested.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, go check this out and watch a few videos, and maybe they'll convince you, because they've convinced me. I'm like, yeah, that's the cast me out right there. So
yeah, Don's done. Don is the owner of it, and he's done thousands and thousands of repetitions of it, picking them up and switching them out and all that stuff, and yeah, it's a pretty cool product.
I just think the spindle would have to have a lot of torque to do that.
You'd be surprised. It doesn't really need a whole lot.
Yeah.
To undo it and to lock it in. And
he said that Don guy you're talking about, I was watching one of the videos he put out, and he said that he thought the same thing, that you really have to crank down on them, and how would you do that? And then he got to checking, I guess, with a torque wrench, and I guess it's really not all that much it takes to hold those in. So that's when he went forward and thought, well, maybe this is doable, and started playing around and
we'll give it a try. Yeah.
With this system, and looks like it's working good for him. So kudos to Rapid change ATC. And like I said, you got me not only convinced, but you got me wanting one.
Was it this last Christmas or the Christmas before that he gave one away?
It was this past
Gatton
Christmas.
Channel.
Yeah. There was one.
That's what I thought.
Christmas challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Who won that? Do you remember?
I can't remember right offhand who grabbed that one.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be the first thing off the board, and it wasn't. I was really surprised.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I just wanted to mention that because I think we have talked about Masso some here lately, and with them now supporting that, that's a pretty cool deal for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Because you just think how many people that have the new Onefinity Elites that have the Masso, but can't swallow buying a $3,700 PWN or whatever, and this gives them a whole nother option that's much cheaper. So
yeah, they started working with Onefinity. I think they had announced it like on Black Friday or something like that. So there's a bunch of people that are already waiting for theirs from them, and so I from last I heard, they're supposed to be starting to receive them this month. So, but
one of the comments is you lose some cutting area, but you don't have to. They make it to where the little tool changer is on a little drive itself, and it kind of pulls itself out of the way. It's just one more macro that you have to write to bring it into position and then change and then take it back out. But you don't have to lose. You don't have to lose position. You can, but you don't have to.
Yeah. And, I've seen a lot of guys, again, I do a lot of YouTube research, watching videos, and a lot of the ones I see, they put them towards the back of the machine. And, you don't really want to give up in cutting area, but how many people really use the full bed all the time? And, I know one guy I watched, he says, I'm going to put it here, and if I get something I have to run, I'll just take it loose and move it out of the way or something for the time being. But, 99.9% of the time, that last few inches, you're probably not going to use anyway. So anyway, I just thought that was cool when I got that email from Masso and saw that they were doing it. And I thought, yeah, that's good. Because, and not just the Onefinity, but who else is doing it's the PWN. They're going to go with the Masso too, I think. G3 Touch. So that's a ton of folks that's going to be able to have that option with the Rapid Tool, as well as all the DIY folks. All right.
They've Don has had had it figured out for the Masso for, I don't know. I mean, it's got to be close to a year. Like, he's had it figured out to work with it. And, but so like he has to write the whole different macros and all that for all the different setups. So like there's a Mach 3 one. There's they've actually got a Gerbil one now, but it's a little bit janky. Because of Gerbil, not because of the machine.
Well, when I was going to the website and trying to check prices and stuff, see what these go for. Mm-hmm. When you go to select it, first thing they do is ask you what you're running, whether it's Masso, Mach 3, a whole bunch of them, Acorn, a whole bunch of them they have listed there. So looks like you
have to have a way to count RPMs, right, or count revolutions, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. Well, the main important thing is that it can only be done with the spindle. It can't be done with a router because it's got to be able to go forward and backward.
Right, but you also have to count revolutions, right, so that you don't put it on too tight. I would think, unless there's some sort of.
I think maybe it hits like a stall speed or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now.
Yeah, I'm sure the macro tells it to slow the spindle down to a certain speed, and I don't know. We'll have to go watch some more videos, Bob.
I guess so. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, but I think the way that the little cylinders are, there's like ball bearings and on springs or something like that. And once it gets to the right torque, you hear like a chunky noise, and that's the bearings
Okay.
being bypassed at that point. I think that's how that goes.
Yeah, I think you're right. It gets up to a certain torque and then it kind of breaks free from
Yeah.
whatever was holding it. So,
Okay.
but anyway, that
Clever, very clever. I love it when people have cool designs.
I do too. And that's something, I never would have thought of, because like when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But I love being proved wrong by somebody that's, of course, it's not hard to be smarter than me, but anyway. All right, moving on. I watched another video came out yesterday from Andy Lee at CNC Labs, and he was doing his monthly update, the May update, and so as I was watching his video, I kind of took some notes for things to talk about tonight to share with y'all, in case you haven't seen his video. But of course, he was talking a lot about the tariffs and the way it's kind of messing with them. There was something, I can't remember what it was, but something that they had ordered, and it was going to cost them 21% more than the previous time they'd ordered it. Whatever it was. So anyway, so they're dealing with trying to get all that figured out with the tariff stuff and all that. And he says on some things they've changed their website so that if you're an American, you can't purchase something and then get stung with a tariff. He just shut it off until they get a lot of this stuff figured out.
Yeah, I think it was mainly the Makita router and T-shirts.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's what it was.
I think so.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the T-shirts and the router. But anyway, he was talking about if you want a long mill, I think he said any size, whatever size long mill they have, there's no delay in those because they have those in stock, so they can ship those pretty much whenever. Now, when it comes to the alt mill, there's a little bit of a delay. I think he said their lead time's running about 3 months right now, or 12 weeks. So that's pretty healthy. But they seem like and this is just old Dave talking here, they seem like they've got a lot on the ball. In other words, they don't just create some list, and then throw it on the website. And then when somebody asks them about shipping, they just, well, go check the list. No, Andy's on there himself. And he's one of the founders of the company. And he does these updates every month, always has. He's been doing them for a long time. And, he just tells you up front what it is and how they're working to improve and get better at the lead times. And I have no doubt that they will, and offer a much shorter lead time. He also mentioned, and I guess I really wasn't aware of this because it just went over my head, I guess, but I guess they've been working on a 4x8 alt mill, and he said they've kind of slowed down on that because of the demand of the 4x4 alt mill and the 2x4 alt mill. They're concentrating more on trying to get more production so that they can get these things shipped out faster. And of course, the tariffs and all are throwing kind of a monkey wrench into that. But so he said they've kind of slowed down on the 4x8 alt mill, And one thing that I thought was interesting that I didn't know is he said the 4x8 alt mill will have rack and pinion instead of the ball screws, which makes perfect sense because, when you got a 9 or 10 foot long span and now you put a ball screw on it, it's going to whip, and then you got to go bigger and bigger diameter. So the rack and pinion just makes perfect sense to me. So, and I'm sure, knowing those guys, they will do a ton of testing, and when that thing comes out, it'll be jam up, I'm betting. So
Yep.
we'll call it the Canadian Avid or something. Oh, they probably wouldn't appreciate me calling it that, but
I think they should try the Bell Everman. If you guys know them, tell them to just look at the Bell Everman. I just love that design.
Yeah. I think that's a good design. You're the only one I know that's done it, unless it's been done on, some other bigger machines, bigger companies. But that is a pretty cool design.
So, Bob, can you explain what that, how that?
So first of all, it's not my design. Okay. So it's not that I love it because I did it. When I saw it, I fell in love with it. So you take one belt, right? Just a open loop belt, just as straight as you want. Right. And you just glue it to your CNC machine. So it makes like a road, if you will, but it's a speed bumpy road. And then you turn the other belt upside down. And if you have trapezoid teeth, which it works really well for, it doesn't really do so well with the GT2 or the other. People have tried it, but the trapezoidal tooth, like the T10, and there's some other ones, but you can get, because it's basically a track on a track, right? And the trapezoid is loose. You can take the backlash out of each side, right, by having rollers down there. But if you just look at Bell Everman servo drive, he's got some videos out there. And there's one now that's even a track drive, which I think was kind of just, this is Bob talking again. He came up with the one like we use for the KL, but somebody else kind of said, well, hey, you could just use a single belt and just loop it for the top belt, right? And he said, yeah, but you would wear it out. And you do. I can attest to that because we tried it with the KL8. But if you went with wider belt, you'd be okay. But it is just, the accuracy of a belt has to be the same as a rack and pinion, right? Because you have to still mesh with all the teeth, so they can only have a small amount of error in between them. And it's just, it's simple, it's cost effective, and it's easy to, if your gears wear out, man, that can be expensive on a rack and pinion. We had that with the Avid because we didn't know how to take care of it, when we first started, and we pushed it so hard. So, after that, we realized you better keep them things greased or they're not going to last very long.
And let me just add, you said if your gears wear out, it's not if, it's when.
When, yeah.
If you're running it a lot, metal on metal like that, even if you keep it greased, it's going to get some wear to it, and it'll eventually have to be replaced.
Same with the belts, right? The belts don't last forever either, but they're a dime a dozen compared to the other. But if for anybody that's interested in building their own and they want to build a big machine, Dave's right. To get a ball screw that's that long, first of all, it'd have to be really thick, and then it'd have to be turned, or you wouldn't have any accuracy. You can't, or ground. You can't just, form it. So your cost is just like, well, you better just have a big checkbook, right? But So you have to either go to a rack and pinion or something else. And like I said, I love the Bell Everman, not because it's my design. I just think it was Michael Everman that actually invented it. It's just a clever way to do something. And you can have a 20-foot system, and it would be the same accuracy as a 4-foot system. So, but
yeah,
cool.
I'd love to see somebody else do that design.
Well, let's see. Do I know of anybody that has a belt machine?
Maybe in the future.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you don't get any belt stretch, right? Because the belt that's not supported is only going in between the two idlers. So, I mean, you can accelerate really hard. As a matter of fact, the Bell Everman system, if you go out and they use it for pick and place machines. So not a lot of load, but it is just extremely can accelerate like you wouldn't believe and stop, it decelerate. So, and with good accuracy. So, but anyway. I'll be quiet now. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a salesman. I just love that design.
Yeah, Kenneth's already on it. He says the Ranger CNC 2.0. Have a little drop down list where you can select the Bell Everman version.
There you go.
All right. I got. We're still going to talk about tool databases, but I still got a couple more little things I want to talk about. And Bobby, this is another thing I think you would really enjoy. I'm going to talk about 2 YouTube channels that I've ran across recently. Maybe you've already seen them, but I think you would appreciate the engineering and design and all that stuff of this. But this, the first one is a YouTube channel called DIV CNC. And like this first one right here says their latest custom CNC. I mean, this thing is a tank. It doesn't have a real big work area, but I mean, it is a tank. And what made me find this channel is I've been watching a lot of videos with people doing, changing out their old Mach 3 or whatever controller system they're using to the Masso G3 Touch, because I'm very interested in one of those and hope to have one day. But
you don't have it yet?
This guy here has done a well, you can see down here, this is the one of these videos is where he's replacing the other software with the Masso G3 Touch. And one reason why I think you would like this, Bob, is this guy, you can tell these are sheet metal type people. That's what made my eyes light up when I saw it, is they they're laser cutting these sheet metal plates and notching them and welding them together and then making these just rock solid CNC machines. So it's that's a pretty interesting channel, and he's built several of them now that he's got in his shop. But really good channel to watch if you like that kind of thing. I always like watching channels where and you can see he's not a big channel either. He's got 21 videos, less than 2,000 subscribers. But
did I see an Estelchem video there too?
Yes, you did.
Right there. Yeah.
Okay. For first-time users, right there. So
yeah.
And that looks like one of his. He did it 2 years ago. He got 15,000 views on it. So it was probably his most popular video right there. But anyway, that's a good channel. Links are down below in the description if y'all want to go check this out. And let me get another one queued up here. And it's another one I found recently. And this guy here is pretty amazing. His name's Travis Mitchell, and that's his YouTube channel, Travis Mitchell. But again, I found a video where he was doing a retrofit using a G3 Masso Touch. So I started watching that, which led to another video, And this guy has a full build series here where he makes a DIY fiber laser cutting machine. And I'm talking 1,000 watt, not your little 50-watt diode or something like that. He got 1,000 watt fiber laser cutter. He does the whole build series. He uses a lot of 80/20 aluminum extrusion and stuff like that. And then when he's doing these retrofits, changing out. Like he'll go get an old machine off of Craigslist or something and just totally redo it. And he just runs over to this fiber laser, throws some 16 gauge stainless on it, and he's making these brackets and face plates and all kinds of stuff using this laser. And I'm thinking, what a cool dude, man. This guy's got all kinds of stuff in his shop. He's got CNC router. He did a retrofit with a Masso G3 touch on that. And he also changed some motors around and had to make plates and all this kind of stuff. He's got a couple of milling machines that are CNC. Just a cool channel to watch. You get a cup of coffee and a sandwich when you get ready to go watch that guy's videos, because he has got a lot of stuff. And like I said, I started out just going, oh, another retrofit with a Masso G3 touch. And then the next thing I know, I was spending way more time than I want to admit watching his videos. And I haven't even gone through and watched his fiber laser thing, which I intend to do, because I could probably make room for one of those out here. So
Yeah,
because I'm an old sheet metal guy anyway. I would love to have something like that. But 1,000 watt, I can remember when back in my younger days when I was working at sheet metal shops, that's what they had, 1,000, maybe 1,500 watt laser. Now, it wasn't fiber laser. It was probably a different kind of laser. But, that's what they were cutting the steel, quarter-inch steel or half-inch steel, stuff like that with. And now the metal shop right here in town where I used to work, I emailed him the other day asking him about stuff. I said, hey, I know it's been a while, since I've worked there. I said, I'm sure you got some new technology and stuff in. I said, what have you got that you can, what's the thickest aluminum you can cut, and what kind of edge can you put on it, Because sometimes when you cut aluminum, you get kind of a raggedy edge depending on what you're, especially with the water jets and stuff, if you cut the real thick stuff. But, they currently have a 6,000 watt laser, and he said they're getting ready to get a 15,000 watt laser in. So, but so the technology is crazy. But imagine having even 1,000 watt laser where you can cut steel and stainless steel and stuff like that in your garage or your shop or whatever. That's just
that'd be
crazy.
Cool.
But yeah, great channel. Oh, and I'm sitting here talking about it. I never did show it, did I? But this is it. This is it right here. Travis Mitchell. There's a shot of his laser in action. But he just has these couple slats right here, and you can see he's using these clips to hold the metal on, and then he just cuts it and lets the parts fall down in there, and he'll get them out. But really cool channel. I just thought I'd mention that. I know not everybody likes the same kind of stuff I like, but that's pretty cool. And in fact, you can see his handle is at DIY Fiber Laser there. So good channel. Go check it out.
It'd be cool to have somebody come along and make an inexpensive fiber laser, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm planning on watching his videos, and I may have to skip forward to the part to see if he tells how much his build costing.
Yeah.
It may be out of my range. But,
it may discourage you from the get-go. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd probably still watch him anyway, just because it's really cool
to watch. Yeah.
But the guy seems like he's really smart as far as using 360 to design all this stuff. And then, like I said, he's got every machine tool in the shop you can think of to create stuff. So good channel there. All righty. We'll get on to we've been yakking for about 40 minutes here. Let's get talking about tool databases. I'm going to go around the horn, put everybody on the spot. Ryan, what kind of tool database stuff do you use? I know you've got, that look says it all. Do you use a tool database?
Well, no, because I've just started using the Vectric stuff. So no, I haven't. I have not kept any kind of tool database.
Okay, so that's going to be your excuse that you just started using the Vectric. Okay, what about you, Bob? When you were running Bob CNC, and how many different tools did you use to cut your machines out?
Really, just a couple. And for me, it was Estelcam. Right, that was my go-to. So they have a little tool database that you can have in there, and I think I had like 5 tools maybe. So I'm not a very good person to ask either.
Okay.
Well, and most of your machines were cut out with the laser, so it wasn't even.
Well, the smaller machines were lasers, but the KL7 series was cut out. Right. But it was basically a compression 1/8-inch bit.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, when I was doing the Gatton kits, because I was all about saving time, because I don't have one of those fancy automatic tool changers, so I just tried to program everything using the same bit. Even some things were, like if you're doing a round pocket or something, you might could do it faster using a bigger bit, but I'm like, the tool change time would take up that difference. So just you do one tool, hit start, and then I can go do something else, not even worry about looking at that machine until I hear it shut off. So
okay.
All right, Paul. Well, that puts you in the hot seat then. Tell us all about your tool database.
Yeah.
I have a fantastic tool database. It's the default one that comes with Vectric.
Okay.
And if I need to add to it, usually what I do is just take the closest thing to it and edit it in Vectric and use it for that one job. And I hate dealing with it.
Okay. Well, maybe this isn't a good topic for this bunch of people on the panel because I am the world's worst. I am the world's worst at maintaining a tool database in Vectric. But I will show you, I have, and I did this actually quite a while ago, but I've downloaded the whole line of Jenny bits, but they're not, it's just, that's all his stuff. When I say his, I'm talking about Cody. So it's not kind of organized, but there's his whole line. Down here, I went ahead and grabbed the Amana. You can go there to their website, and they got a ton of different kinds of bits, so you can get them all. So I have got them here, but again, they're not really organized in any kind of way. I just they're there. Let me just download this.
Well, I'm impressed.
And let's see what else have I got. It's just a hodgepodge of stuff. But the reason I wanted to talk about this tonight is because there is a channel, and I've mentioned this guy's channel before. Let me get him queued up over here.
So could you go over how you can download them into the Vectric when you get time?
Well, if I can remember how. I know you just go to their, like Cody's, you just go to his website, and it's got to be easy to do, or I wouldn't have figured it out. But you just go there, and I think it just says something about tool database or tool specs or whatever, and you just download it and you get his whole line of tools, and then put them in here. But all these should really be organized a little better. And if I can get this, get this queued up here.
Clack says he knows a guy who has a video on that. Let me guess.
I know what I'll be doing after the show.
Yeah.
Since I just use Ginny bits, that it should be pretty easy to move everything over.
Well, I have a real hodgepodge collection of bits because I've been doing this so long. I've been collecting bits for 20 years or more. But there's a video here, and I've got a link to this in the description. The guys, and I mentioned him the other night. I think I gave him a shout out. But it's Marty Mitchell over at Mitchell's Woodworking LLC. That's his channel. And I've got a link to a particular video down below in the description. And the name of this video is Unlocking Tool Number Secrets in the Masso and VCarve Pro Database. And when I saw the way he did it, I'm like, I'm going to do that. Probably not overnight, but that's my goal by the end of the summer. I want to have my tools and stuff organized the way he does, because he's in the Vectric. He'll have a let's see if I can share this now. And I don't want to get a copyright strike here, but let me just, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, see, he even has a number where he puts, and he's got them sorted by end mills, V bits, the special bits, and then he puts this number in front of them, which I kind of thought, well, why are you doing that? But I like that, having that number there. It'll also show up when you go to edit the tool. You know how it'll ask for a tool number in Vectric. But he assigns all these numbers, and you see he'll skip some numbers to leave room for when he buys something new to put in there, which I thought was a great idea. And then he also shows it over here. Let's see where I can find it here. Here he's showing. Okay, yeah. Well, I can't quite see it, but down below here, I haven't got to it yet. There we go. So it'll ask you for a tool number here in Vectric, but whatever he calls this number tool here, he adds that number up so that it shows up over here, which I think is a really good idea. I really like that.
Well, if you had a tool changer, it would be.
What's that?
If you had a tool changer, it'd be necessary, right? Because you wanted to grab that tool.
Right. And see, he has the high dollar PWN tool changer that we were talking about earlier. He has that with his Onefinity his Onefinity Elite. So, and he also goes through, and here he's showing you how he's putting them, how it's important to call the exact same number that it is in Vectric here in the Onefinity or the Masso thing here. And so it makes it work really well. Here again, I'm showing you where he's skipping some numbers, so he's got room to add. Got V bits up here, got taper ball nose down here. But I was watching this and I thought, holy cow, it's probably a little bit. Well, I know it's a lot of work now that if you wait and do it after the fact, when you got a whole bunch of stuff like I got. But I need to take an inventory of my tooling and start making me a list, and then go through Vectric and creating unique tool numbers like I should have been doing all along.
It'll come in handy when you get that Masso controller.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. See, I'm trying to prepare for that, Bob. I really want one of those. And usually when I want something, I end up getting it eventually. So that's why I feel like I need to get organized. But here's my tool database right now.
I hear you.
I've got a lot of loose tools right here. These are actually a bunch of when I was doing a lot of those Gatton CNC kits, and those were the days before Cody Elkins was around. So my favorite bit to use back then was the CMT. So I have a ton of these that I would use for so many blanks, and then I would swap it out. I'd order these a dozen at a time off of the CMT website. And what I'd usually do is when I'd pull these out, I don't know if you can see, you probably can't see that yet. There's a little bit of red magic marker right on the tip on this end of the shank. And I would mark them and then stick them back in the drawer. And then that would tell me that, okay, this one's got red on it, so it's already got X number of blanks on it. But I save these things, and this is what I use when I'm experimenting cutting aluminum. Because if I break one, big deal. I got 50 more of them in my little box here. So that's what I use. And by the way, I don't know if anybody saw my Facebook post. I think I did it yesterday, where I was running some aluminum on my old Sidewinder back here. And literally a minute or two after I posted and uploaded that video to Facebook, I heard something go, boop, and then all of a sudden it got quiet. So I broke that bit, but it was because, and I don't know why I forget stuff like this. I should have went ahead and used, because I was trying to cut a small piece out of a small irregular shaped piece of drop. And I should have used the CA and painter's tape method, and I didn't. I had 3 clamps on it, so one side didn't have anything on it, and it was because I was coming all the way out there with the bit. But yeah, the piece move. If it moves just a little bit, that bit's toast, and that's what happened. And I thought, wow, I'm glad that wasn't in the video I just shot and uploaded. But yeah, so I have one less of those now. But yeah, I have all kinds of stuff. And of course, my favorites these days are all the Jenny Bit line from Cody and all that. But that's my goal to get by the end of I think by the end of the summer is a good goal to have. I'm going to try to get organized, get my Vectric tool database all organized like Marty shows in that video. And then if I am able to get a G3 Masso Touch, it'll be much easier to do. And then, of course, then I got to try to spend some bucks and get one of those, what is it called? Rapid Change ATC.
Yeah.
So, planning big.
Well, if you got all those tool numbers in there, you're going to need a tool changer.
Yeah. Well, Marty at Mitchell's Woodworking LLC, I've been watching a lot of his videos lately for a couple of reasons. Not so much that he's got a Onefinity, because I don't really care about a Onefinity CNC, but he does have the G3 Masso Touch with it. He got, even before he got the PWN tool ATC set up, he's got some other good videos on how just to do a manual change, but with a tool setter. And he's got it set up where it comes to a certain spot, he'll change the tool. Then when he hits the button, it automatically comes down, hits the tool setter. It goes, and then does that, and then it comes back to that spot. So even that much is still a big improvement over the way I always did it. But not that I run stuff where it requires a lot of tool changes, but maybe I would do more complex stuff with tool changes if I was a little more organized. And had a better way of doing it. But anyway, I have not been watching the comments at all. Paul, have you? You usually scope them out for me. Was there anything?
We got one
Put them on
interesting
there.
one here.
One from Mike.
Let me get it up here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
1,200 RPM. Yeah.
Okay, Mike says, I have the Rapid ATC on a 150 Elite Journeyman, been using it for the past year. The tightness is generated by the spindle running approximately 1,200 RPM and then engaging the collet nut. Cool. Good deal. Yeah, I see Clack says, Cody has a database that is very conservative. Yeah, I think Cody did that on purpose, David, because I know he knows that, I mean, he's trying to sell bits to the hobbyists, and he knows not everybody has a machine as sturdy as a 150 or an alt mill or something like that, or in your case, Shapeoko Pro, which I've been watching a lot of videos with those machines here lately too. I think that's they've really stepped up their game with the release of that one. So,
did you see the video of the shop tour that they did?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I did. That was a cool video to watch. Let's see. Let me scroll through here, see if we've got.
As organized as Marcelo is, this comment doesn't surprise me.
All my tools are numbered and style. Took a bit of time. Now it's easy. See, that's the thing. Like I said, I've been doing this for so long, and I showed this little box full of tools here. That's probably not even half of what I've got scattered out, because I've got a shop around back too. I'm in my garage shop now, but I've got all kinds of, because I noticed when I was putting stuff in here, this is mostly end mills and a few V bits and some, my surfacing bits in here, which I need to get a new one of those. But I have all I bought those bits to do barley twists. I've got two different size ones to do a barley twist on a rotary axis. I've got those around here somewhere. I haven't found yet. And I've also got bowl bits and all kinds of stuff like that. And they're all around in the shop in the back. So I've got to try to get them all in one place. Spend a half a day writing all this out, getting it organized and, grouped the way it should be and stuff like that. And then get them entered. And then once you get it done, like Marcelo said, once you get done, then if you just keep it up, you're okay. It's not near hard to do. Clyde says, I'm still waiting for you to convert your bench mill to a CNC. Yeah, I looked up I was running some stuff on that thing. I've been using that a lot this week. And that is a sweet little old manual mill. It's a Precision Matthews PM25 MV for anybody that wants to go check one out. No, I'm not an affiliate or anything. They don't even know who I am, but that's a really nice little machine, but it is manual. Now they make a CNC conversion kit, and I think it's about, I can't remember, $1,600, I think, to do it. But I don't know if I would use it enough to to make it worthwhile, because I hadn't really used the thing at all until here lately. I'm doing some stuff with it. So that part that I mentioned where I broke the material moved and it broke the bit, the way I was doing it, it's basically just a simple rectangle shape, no holes or nothing. And what I would do is I would tell it to cut down to 0.485, which wouldn't cut all the way through. And then I could take it, and with just that, I call it onion skin, but in aluminum, it's really thicker than that. I take it, put it in a vise, and take a hacksaw and go down a couple sides. Then I could take the third one and bend it and break it off. Then I could take it and put it in upside down on the vise on the mill and clean up the edges. So I wasn't worried about it. And I even salvaged that part. It had a little boogered up spot from where the right seconds before the bed broke. But I'm like, well, where it's going, nobody's going to see it, and won't nobody know it's there but me anyway. So I went ahead and cleaned it up.
Well, there goes my theory.
What?
I was thinking you were making parts to convert the mill over to CNC.
No, I wouldn't even. I'd just splurge and buy that conversion kit if I was going to do that, and I might still do that one day. I don't know. It's
So what's the mill that you have? What's it? What's the name of it?
It's Precision Matthews. It's a PM-25 MV, and I bought it since it's manual, and I'm old and I can't see good anymore. I didn't want to have to depend on reading the dials, lining up those little lines and stuff. So I spent the extra money and bought the DRO unit that comes with it. So, and it's got 5 decimal places and stuff. So it's pretty nice. And I don't even know how to use half the stuff it'll do. It'll do all kinds of stuff, but it's not CNC. You still got to crank it to get there. So, and you can't make a circle. I'm not coordinating.
No, not unless you're really good. Yeah, I'm not that good for sure.
I mean, you can if you use like a rotary thing and set it up and crank that and it turns the thing. You can do circles, but I just use it for basic stuff, cleaning up the edges of stuff and laying out holes and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe I'll make that a CNC one day. I don't know. But it's a nice little machine. And they have a couple of models. Mine's a 25. They have a PM-28 that's a little bigger. And then they go up. I think they've got one more bench top, I think, that's a little bigger than that. And then they go into the knee mills and stuff like that.
I had a Bridgeport Series 1 that was CNC. It was nice. It's nice to have. But it was heavy, and I didn't use it that often. So
those things are heavy. But I know I posted something on Facebook. Somebody commented and said, "Hey, if you're going to do that, just do it right and get a Tormach." And I'm like, "Well, I'd love to have one of them, but it's that whole thing about unless they would bring it and set it and roll it in here and all that, because I can't lift any of that stuff, and I'm not going to go buy the equipment to do it. So I'll just
his ears must have been burning.
Why you say that? That's
not
the
channel that you were talking
about? No.
It's a different channel.
That's a different channel. I was talking about Marty Mitchell. His channel's Mitchell's Woodworking LLC.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's Mitch. Hi, Mitch.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Let me scroll through the comments one more time here. I guess I missed anything. And it says my mill is a DHD, Dave hand driven. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it works good. It's just it gets old after a while. Cranking back and forth on that thing, but it does a pretty good job. It's better than not having one. I'll say that. So, all right. Well, anybody got any closing comments or anything?
I do.
I noticed not too many people in the chat are bragging about their tool database either. So
Yeah,
I don't feel
you're the
so
one,
bad.
Dave. Yeah,
Other
you
than
really got.
Marcelo, I don't see anybody talking about how good that is.
Evidently, I have multiple tool databases because I have some here, and then I have some out there, and then I have some out there.
Well, you know,
my
now
tool
that you bring
database is
that up,
wide.
you know, I have like right here for this machine, I had, of course, this computer that I'm on right here that I do the live stream with, I have Vectric VCarve Pro on that I just showed you, you know, but I also have one in the office. And then I got a computer around back in the shop. So that's the other problem is it's hard enough just to keep the things all on the same version of VCarve.
Yeah.
Much less keeping the tool database. Now, maybe there's a way to
I'm
keep
sure
it
there
all
is.
like that, you know. And I know somebody probably say, "Oh, yeah, you just need to get them networked together and all that." I don't like all that. Yeah. But I figure if I can just keep one database up to date and then somehow figure out how to copy it and move it.
I'm sure it's a file in Vectric. So if you could find whatever that file is, you could probably just copy and paste that file over to the other one.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, because I'm really only worried about keeping my office computer and this one.
Yeah.
Because I really don't do that much out in the shop around back. My shop around back has pretty much become well, other than storage, it's become where all the traditional woodworking tools are. Well, if I need to use the bandsaw, the table saw, the miter saw, the drill press, or the wood lathe, all that's around there. Now that I've moved this machine back around here to the garage, there's really no more CNC stuff back there. So don't need to keep a computer back there. Okay, John, see, somebody knows more than I do here. You can migrate the new database to your program of Vectric. Okay, that works. Okay, yeah, let's see, Clack's got something here. What's he saying? Vectric also allows online sync of tool
There
data.
you go. That's the way to do it.
Okay, so you'd have to. Is that something you get? So you got to get online and log into the Vectric account to do it. I guess I'll have to look into that.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
And Marcelo says Fusion 360 lets you save your database online, so you can access it from anywhere. Yeah. I just like I said, the of course my office computer, it's connected to the internet as well as this one. But any other computers I use, I'm just funny. I like this right here. I don't want it connected to the internet because
don't want a Windows update to mess up everything.
you don't want the stupid Windows updates. You don't want some kind of virus or, you know, that's, you know, everybody talks about the viruses and the malware and stuff like. Well, you can't get any of that if it ain't connected. So
there you go.
I just have always kept my whatever I was using dedicated to a CNC machine. I always kept it off of the internet. And like right here where I'm at, I mean, I can literally turn around and touch this CNC, so I can use this Vectric VCarve here and put it here. Now I think I've got Vectric on that old computer, but it's probably not even the same version as the one I have here because I don't worry about updating it. I just because I'm right here, just literally turn around and and do it. Let's see. John says you can do one database and upload it to the cloud. I love when people say the cloud.
Or a jump drive, Dave. You can do it on a jump drive. You
know what the cloud is, don't you, folks? It's somebody else's computer. There is no magical cloud. It's somebody else's computer. But yeah, it always tickles me when somebody says, "Oh, you just put it on the cloud." Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're in agreement here. No controller machines on the cloud. That's right. Because you just don't know who all's on that cloud. That may not be your private cloud. There may be all kinds of weirdos on that cloud. So anyway, all right. Well, I guess if nobody else has got anything to say, we'll get ready to pipe this one out. Ryan, I know you got some stuff to plug a little bit. Tell them about your Saturday gig and
oh yeah, sure.
What you got going on this Saturday?
Yeah, we got Saturday night. Saturday night we got the Making It Up As We Go on the R. Ballard Designs YouTube channel, and Saturday's a big deal. So Ranger CNC is coming, and it's going to be released on Saturday, whether it's ready or not. So we're pulling the trigger on it. And I just did put a YouTube short out a couple hours ago, talking about it, or not really talking about it, but just showing it. But pretty awesome. And also, I don't know if you can get if Old Bay is a thing outside of the Maryland area, but Goldfish has Old Bay ones now, and they're awesome. They're fantastic.
Old Bay is good stuff.
It sure is. And Old Bay Goldfish crackers are just phenomenal. So get yourself
Old
some
Bay on grilled shrimp is just amazing.
Old Bay on anything is amazing.
Wow.
I have a gallon of it up in my pantry.
Sounds
it
like
gets put on everything. Potato. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, Old Bay Goldfish are pretty awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good times.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this thing come out Saturday. Hope it goes well for you, and can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you going to be broadcasting from?
What's that, Paul?
You're going to be broadcasting from your workshop, so you can run a demo.
No, I don't have internet out there yet.
Oh, okay.
No, that's all good.
All right, Bob, you got any parting words?
Nope. I just realized how lacking I am. No tool database here. Now I feel bad, and I bet I have as many bits as you have, but I just go look for one and go, yeah, that'll work. So
it's a good thing you don't run a CNC company anymore.
Exactly. Well, but again, the tool database there was 3 bits. So it was not too hard either. So matter of fact, they're probably still in my Estelcam, right? Those 3 bits. So
yeah,
I'm going to work on it now. So if I'm going to put mine in Estelcam instead of.
Do you want to join the group Paul and I were talking about creating?
The support group for
the support group for disorganized people.
I'm kind of enjoying my new disorganized life. It's like, meh. So I think I'll pass for now.
Well, I get frustrated with myself because when I was building machines and selling them, I wasn't the most organized person. But when I think back now, I'm like, man, I was way better. Like I think you can't see it just out of camera shot here, but I have a big thing of all these little small drawers, and I had bolts and nuts and and I could just, I need this, a 1-inch nut. I go or bolt. I go over there and pull the right drawer out, grab it. I knew where everything was. It was so organized, and now it's all just
Yeah.
so.
Bob CNC ran a pretty tight ship. I mean, we had an R&D lab where we had the extra special stuff, but on production, things were where they were supposed to be, and that was just the way it was. At the end of the day, they cleaned
that's a
up.
sign of that's a sign of a sick mind when everything's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, believe me, if you're doing it for a living, it's a sign of more efficiency, which is what you want. But
Yeah.
but I don't do that now.
Yeah.
I don't have to be efficient at all. So, and I'm not. So,
My
Mitch,
downfall.
Mitch, I would just buy one of everything.
Is sticky notes. My downfall is sticky notes. I have them all over my desk. That's just covered with sticky notes.
Good deal.
Well, that reminds me of when I was still working my regular job years ago. If I thought of something while I was at work that I wanted to do when I got home, it wasn't a sticky note, but I would grab a piece of paper, write a note, and stick it in my pocket because I knew I'd forget it once I got home. But you'd be surprised how many of those notes ended up in the washing machine or the dryer, wadded all up because I'd forget to even check my pocket. But I used to write stuff down all the time. And I still write stuff down a lot. And then I forget where I put the notes. So
if you want a good note-taking thing, blank playing cards. They are a game changer. It's like a deck of cards, but they're blank, and you can get them on Amazon and all that. They're fantastic for notes.
Okay, I never thought of that.
Yeah. It's a game changer.
We'll go through the wash, I guess, maybe.
I don't know how well they will go through. I haven't had any go through the wash, but but it's easy to throw them away when you're done screwing. Like I get, if I have a sheet of paper, like I end up filling up the whole sheet of paper, and 99% of it doesn't mean anything. For whatever the reason is that I'm keeping that piece of paper for, but I can now write it on a card like this, and it's a lot easier to keep track of.
Let me hit this comment again.
Yep.
I showed this a minute ago. Mitch asked about recommending a particular set of Jennies. My goal is to just get one of everything. I've got quite a few different ones, but there's some of the newer stuff he's got out. Like I don't have his bowl bit and some stuff like that. But let me just say this too about bits. There's a lot of good bits out there. But Jenny Bits by Cody Elkins, you know what you're getting. You can watch video of the guy running the machine, making the bits. He's pretty much a one-man shop, and he probably cares more about this community than any of the other people that you see peddling bits. And I've noticed that more and more. And here I'm getting on my soapbox here right in the show, but I've noticed more and more that everybody's got their little line of bits, but they don't make them, and that just irritates the stuff out of me. I had them back when I was doing the GAT CNCs and all this stuff. I had the sales rep from Omana that I always used to see at the woodworking shows. He says, "Oh, we can put together a box." And I go, "No," I said, "I'll just, I'll just tell them about your bits, but you don't have to have a special box, put my name on it and have them sell it." I says, "Because I'm not making them. You guys are." I don't know, but there's a lot of folks out there, and it seems like every day
Chinese bits with their name on it, right?
Yeah, they're just ordering bits from some other manufacturer, repackaging, putting their little sticker and sending them off with the candy and the little love note and all that kind of stuff. The heck with that, I plan on buying probably everything I'm going to buy as far as bits from Cadence Manufacturing, which is Cody Jenkins or Cody Elkins, because they are great stuff. And like I said, nobody cares about the CNC hobby community more than he does.
Sure
And
does.
he's the real deal. You know,
You buy
anybody
a bit on Amazon and then compare it to one of his. There is no comparison. It is that his bits are fantastic.
Yeah. Now, what was it? Wasn't it like 400 and something thousand he spent on that machine?
Yeah.
It was
You know, if you're going to invest that kind of money to, for the community like that, you know, that just tells you everything. Like I said, these other guys, they're just buying them somewhere else, putting their little sticky label on them and calling them their bits. And that just irritates the stew out of me. We need to support who's really gives a flip about this community, you know, and not just for the money.
The other one that I really like that also make their own bits is Paul from Bits and Bits. It's a small family up in the Pacific Northwest, but those are the only two places where I ever buy bits. So
Bull bits from each of them. But for Mitch, for his question on a set to try out, if you for Hamilton Dilbeck's CNC with Me channel or community, they do a set of Cadence Manufacturing bits, and it's a down cut, a bowl bit, and a V bit, and I think it's a little group package there, and it's a good deal on them. So if you want to start with a little package of them, that's a good one to get.
Yeah, and again, they're manufactured by Cody, so they are the real deal. So anyway, I'm getting down off my soapbox now. Stuff like that just irritates me when there's so many people out there that just are not the real deal. If you can see through them, and I've been around long enough, I can see through them because I know they weren't around back a long time ago. They just popped in all of a sudden, boom. They're all of a sudden manufacturing bits. Yeah, right. So anyway, let's get ready to get out of here. Oh, Paul, do you got anything left you want to say?
Other than get organized.
Okay. Well, we'll get our little support group going and see if
we want to see that Masso pretty soon too. What are you holding up for? I mean, come on.
I don't have one. I showed you my Gen 2 Masso. I can bring it out here and show you again.
No, we need to see you get that new one. You know you're going to, so you might as well.
I will have one day.
Once the tariffs go down. Evidently, we don't like Australia very much.
Yeah, I think I probably messed up and waited too late to get one, but because now I hadn't even looked to see what they are now. But I think when I get one, I'll go ahead and because you can buy the Gen 3 thing that looks just like the one I have, only mine's a Gen 2. You can buy that separate, or you can buy the G3 Masso Touch, which is the screen and the whole deal. I really like that setup.
You want the Touch.
The more I watch videos of people that are either buying a machine that comes with, like the Onefinity or the PWN or whatever, the Dominator, or I watch guys like I mentioned, that's Travis Mitchell and the other guy, DIV CNC. All these people are dumping the Mach 3. They're tired of having to deal with a computer, and they're getting these, doing these retrofits with the G3 Masso Touch. And I haven't seen anybody say they don't like it or regret swapping it over to that. Everybody likes it. And, you have to load your programs with the thumb drive, or if you want to do the Masso link, you can click that and, of course, then again, you got to have it connected. which I think that one has the Wi-Fi built in and stuff anyway. But you can send the programs that way if you want, or you can use the thumb drive and stuff. But I don't know. I just really like it, and in a real shop environment, which is my background. I sat in an office and designed stuff, and I programmed big industrial lasers and turret presses and all this different kinds of CNC equipment. And there wasn't, well, for a long time, there wasn't a way to send it. It's like the operator would come in with their little thumb drive and we would load on what they wanted. And then they walk back out to the shop, stick it in the machine and run it. But now some of the bigger shops, I'll have them connected where you can send the file and put them in a queue or something like that, and then get them that way. But yeah, it's not like they have a PC at their workstation to do that kind of stuff. Michael Norton says nobody wants to say bad things after spending $1,400. There might be some truth to that. Maybe they just don't want to admit. But I just have not seen anybody that doesn't like it.
It's kind of like Vectric software, right? I mean, everybody that buys it just absolutely likes it. So.
Yeah, and when somebody's on the fence about buying it, they're like, "Man, I just don't know. It's so expensive," and yada yada yada. And it's like, then they go from easel or something, they finally buy it, and they're like, "Holy cow! I should have done this years ago." I think, and I don't make any money, bragging on Vectric products, but I've been using them for, heck, the VCarve Pro I've been using for nearly 20 years. But, to me, it's a good value if they were charging twice as much. Now, don't tell them that.
Don't be saying that, yeah.
They will. But a lot of folks say it's pricey stuff, but it's like a lot of software. The reason it costs so much, well, let's just take SolidWorks, for example. SolidWorks, a seat of that, is really expensive, but good Lord, that thing will do, it'll do everything,
yeah.
Especially depending on which modules you got. Like when I use SolidWorks every day at the fab shop, I knew sheet metal like the back of my hand. I could, draw stuff up, put bends on it, make funnels or, whatever you need to make. I could do it with the sheet metal stuff. But then there's other stuff that software does that I hadn't a clue. We didn't scratch the surface with what it did because all we did was sheet metal. So that's what, and machine parts. That's all we worried about doing. But yeah, that's why that kind of software costs a lot of money, is because it's worth it. I think so anyway. All right, well, let's get out of here. I've been yakking. We've been going on about an hour and a half here. So we'll, if I can find the button over here, we'll go ahead and hit it and get out of here. All right, I got her lined up. Everybody go watch Ryan Saturday talking about his new CNC machine. Can't wait to see that. And we will see y'all next week.
See you.
Bye.